Okay, so even though we don't have our quad wired up yet, with all the parts connected to the flight controller, we can still set up our model on the radio in preparation for hooking up the, binding the receiver to the radio. So obviously we won't be able to do that until we've wired everything up. But for the moment, we can set up our model. If you remember, in the system menu here, we can page through these different folders, the SD card, the tools, and although we've got our module plugged in, if we press a crossfire setup, it's waiting for something. So we basically have to set up a model first to do that. So we come out of that and we click the scroll wheel and go into model select. Okay, we're in aircraft. Again, remember you can scroll through these. You can go from a template or aircraft. Okay, we've got our sim model set up already. We're going to go and create another model here. So long press the scroll wheel, create model. Again, I'm going to back out of this. You can play around and use the quad if you want, but I back out of that and I create a model by itself. So return out of that and we're in that model there. So from this screen here, I'm going to press the model to get into that. And we are actually going to call this our source one. So come out of that. You can actually scroll down like this, or if you want to get to the bottom of the screen, scroll left. Okay, so the main things here are we're going to have our internal RF off because we're using an external module here. All right, if you were using a FreeSky receiver, we'd be setting this to something in here. Okay, but because we're not, we're going to set that as off, and the external RF we are going to set to, you guessed it, crossfire. Okay, and we can keep the channel 1 to 16 for simplicity's sake. I'm not sure if we need a receiver number for crossfire, but we can, I'll choose something, I don't know, go to 30 maybe, and that is it. So there's nothing else really in here that we need to do. Okay, so we can return out of that and go back to that. And now if we go into our crossfire menu, we can now see that we have our MicroTX coming up. Okay, and again, there are settings in here, but we aren't going to use this yet. We're going to get to this when we get to the binding stage for our receiver. And that's basically it for the setup of our model for our source one. And if we scroll across to inputs, we can see we've got AETR, as we said, aileron, elevator, throttle and rudder. Page across to the mixer, and we've got the same. Don't need to worry about that, or that, or that, or that, or any of these things here for the moment. Okay, worry about telemetry later, and that is about it for the moment.